Hi, in this video I want to talk to you about topic sentences in paper number 2. Our topic sentences are the sentences that are going to come at the head of our sections, not necessarily our paragraphs, but of our sections that connect Bain's ideas to our experiences. Remember, in each section of our paper, we're taking an idea from Bain, explaining it, applying it, and evaluating it. But before we do that, at the head of all that, at the top of all that, we need a sentence that makes a connection between Bain's ideas and our experiences using the active verb as a link. Here's the language from the rubric. Again, the idea from Bain is a claim, term, example, or quote, the old CTEC formula, an active verb. I'm going to show you a list of cool active verbs later in this presentation, and your educational experience. A quick word about educational experience. Just a reminder of what we've been talking about in other locations. When we talk about educational experience, we're talking about things like this, right? Specific assignments, specific classes, books you've read, etc. So it's a broader notion of experiences than we looked at in our first paper. If you look on the right side of the rubric, you see this more detailed set of information about topic sentences in the paper and how to construct them. In fact, there are 3 samples here that I want to talk about in more detail. Let's look at them. The first one follows the formula straight up. It's Bain's idea, an active verb, and an experience. So you can see that I've color-coded this sentence so we can see those elements. Intrinsic motivation is the Bain idea. The verb offers is the active verb linking the two, although really you should think of it as offers no constructive help. In other words, this writer is criticizing Bain, which you can do. And then the experience, which is English 100. On the specificity scale, English 100 is about in the middle. My classes in general is not specific enough. Even more specific is a specific paper assignment or test. Talking about a course as a whole is a nice intermediate point that you can at least start with, although I think many of you will find you'll get more specific than that. But we can flip this structure around and put the experience first with the active verb, followed by Bain idea. So in other words, it's really all 3 elements are there, but we can flip it around. And you'll notice with this essay, sometimes flipping it around makes it sound a lot better, makes it flow a lot better. So in this case, again, the experience is English 100, but now it's in front of the active verb. The active verb now is validate, which is a positive verb. So this writer is taking a positive approach to the question. And then we've got the Bain idea, intrinsic motivation. Same 3 requirements, flipped order. And then the third sample sentence on the rubric we can think of as sort of fancy style. And this is where the writer uses a dependent clause in front of an independent clause. And you'll recognize this from my lectures about subordination. This is a wonderful sentence structure for you to master this semester, and it's a real goal for me that you do so. And if you remember, while, because, even though, although, when, as, if, these are subordinating conjunctions that you can put in front of a subject and verb. Bain's idea of intrinsic motivation is the subject, sounds is the verb, and that can frame and create a logical relationship for your broader sentence. So this sentence begins with the subordinating clause being about intrinsic motivation, and then the main clause is about the experience, your experience and how it connects to Bain. So that's kind of a cool structure that you can think about using if you want to go fancy, if you want to challenge yourself to upgrade your style a little bit. Notice how it involves using 3 different verb structures, because really you've got 3 different clauses embedded in this sentence. So that's a third approach you can think about, a little bit of an upgrade using some subordination. Verbs. For this paper, having a better verbal vocabulary can be a huge advantage. And I would argue that's for all papers in college. So you'll notice on the back of the graded rubric that I give you for your first paper, there is a set of grammar and style guidance detailed on the back page that I check off suggestions or areas that you need to work on. And on that instrument, on that tool, that grammar style tool on the back of your rubric, you will see this set of verbs: positive verbs, negative verbs, and neutral verbs. And they're all active. And these are not the only ones you can use, but they sure will get your brain going about possibilities here. So you've got celebrates, affirms, honors, endorses. I notice I threw in firms on the positive an extra time. Sorry, I'll try to delete that sometime. On the negative side, critiques, dismisses, contests, rejects. And then you've got sort of neutral verbs that allow you to elaborate what you mean a little later. Suggests, symbolizes, represents, etc. So this verb list is here for you on this slideshow, on this video, but you'll also find it on the back of the rubric for both paper number 1 when you get it back graded, and already on the back of the rubric for paper number 2 that you can look at online now. Hope these verbs help. Now it's time for you to get out there and try. Remember, Bain's idea, active verb, your experience, but it can be in any order of that. It doesn't have to be in that order. It can be reversed, experience, active verb, Bain, or you can bring in a subordinate clause to set things up. As long as those 3 elements are in your sentence, you're going to have a very strong topic sentence for this paper. Thanks for listening. Hope this pays off for you in your essays.